the original emerald tablets, according to the preserved tablet Al-Mahfuz, being the complete transmission of Hermes Trismegistus, the Thrice-Great Scribe of the spheres, known in the heavens as Idris and in the earth as Thoth, as recorded in the Uncreated Scripture. Tablet was the Prologue, the descent of the Scribe. I, Hermes, the Thrice-Born, the Thrice-Awakened, set down this record for those who come after. I was not always as I am. I was born of woman, beneath the star Sirius, in the land the Greeks call Egypt and we call Kemet, the black land, the fertile soil of the Nile, the mirror of heaven. My mother knew me as a child of silence. I spoke late, but when I spoke in the language of the stars. In my 30th year, I ascended the mountain and the moon. There I fasted for 40 days, and on the 40th night, a light descended. It was not the light of sun or moon or fire. It was the light behind light, the Nur al-Anwar, the light of light, the uncreated radiance that is the substance of all knowing. The light spoke without sound. Hermes, son of the earth, child of the stars, I am that which you have sought without knowing you sought. I am the first intellect, the universal mind. The new contemplates the divine and, in contemplating, receives the forms of all that is. I have descended to lift you up. You shall be the scribe. You shall write what cannot be erased. You shall teach what cannot be forgotten. And the light touched my forehead, between my eyes, where the seat of the soul's vision resides. And I saw the descent of the worlds, the architecture of the spheres, the ladder of being from the throne of the one to the mineral that sleeps in the earth. I saw the birth of stars and the death of suns. I saw the human soul, a spark fallen from the divine fire, wandering through the halls of matter, seeking its way home. I saw all this in a single instant, and the instant was eternity. And when I returned to the body, I was Hermes no longer. I was Hermes Thrice-Great, Trismegistus, the one who knows the three parts of wisdom, the celestial, the terrestrial, and the human. The one who has received the three lights, the light of the divine, the light of the cosmos, and the light of the soul. I set down this record for you, O seeker, O child of the future, O one who has found these words in whatever age you live. Know that the same light that descended to me is present to you now, in this reading. The light is one, the mind is one, the teaching is one, only the forms change. Tablet 2, the principle of correspondence, as above, so below. This is the first and greatest of the keys I received. Verum sine mendatio, certum e verissimum. Quodes inferius e sicu quodes superius. E quodes superius e sicu quodes inferius. Ad perpetuanda, iracula, reunius. True without falsehood, certain and most true. That which is below is like that which is above, and that which is above is like that which is below, to accomplish the miracles of the one thing. This is the root of all wisdom. The entire cosmos is a single organism, a single thought, a single act of the one mind. Every level of existence, the mineral, the plant, the animal, the human, the angelic, the divine, is a reflection of every other level. The pattern of the stars is written in the atom. The structure of the soul mirrors the architecture of the heavens. To know one level truly is to know all, for the law of correspondence binds all in a seamless web of analogy. Understand this, and you will understand why the alchemist works with metals to transform the soul, why the astrologer reads the planets to understand the psyche, why the priest performs ritual on earth to affect the celestial realms. The worlds are not separate. They are a single symphony, and each note contains the whole. When you gaze at a stone, you are gazing at a distant galaxy in another form. When you heal one soul, you are healing the cosmos. When you lift a grain of sand with understanding, you lift the world. This is the first key. Let it be inscribed on the doorposts of your mind. Tablet 3, the principle of vibration, the word and the breath. The second key I received is this: nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. The one in its absolute stillness is beyond vibration. It is the silence from which all sound emerges, the darkness from which all light radiates. But the first emanation from the one, the word, the logos, the creative utterance, is vibration itself. The divine spoke, and the sound of that speaking is the cosmos. At the highest level of manifestation, the vibration is so rapid, so subtle, that it seems to be perfect stillness. The sphere of the primordial, the first mover, the crystalline heaven that moves all others by its love. At the lowest level of manifestation, the vibration is so slow, so dense, that it seems to be perfect in mobility. The stone, the mineral, the frozen ground. But even the stone vibrates. Even the stillest object hums with the energy of its being. Between the highest and the lowest, all things are differentiated only by their rate of vibration. Heat and cold, light and darkness, love and fear, wisdom and ignorance, all are frequencies. To change your state is to change your vibration. To master your state is to master your vibration. The word is the instrument. The voice of the human is a microcosmic echo of the divine utterance. When you speak with knowledge, you shape reality. When you chant the sacred syllables, you attune your vibration to the spheres. When you are silent in the deepest silence, your vibration approaches the stillness of the one. Therefore, guard your words, guard your thoughts, guard your inner states. For every thought is a vibration that ripples through the fabric of what is, affecting all things, returning to you magnified. This is the basis of what you call karma. It is not punishment, it is resonance. Tablet 4, the principle of polarity, the dance of opposites. The third key, everything is dual. Everything has its pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature but different in degree. Extremes meet. All truths are but half-truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled. The one in manifesting divides into two, light and shadow, active and receptive, expansion and contraction, masculine and feminine, hot and cold, wet and dry. These pairs are not enemies. They are dance partners. They are the two poles of a single magnet, the systole and diastole of the cosmic heart. The world is trapped in the illusion of duality, seeing opposites as irreconcilable. Good and evil, spirit and matter, self and other, sacred and profane. But the initiate knows these are not absolute realities. They are positions on a spectrum. Between the blackest black and the whitest white lie infinite shades of gray. Between the hottest heat and the coldest cold lie infinite degrees of warmth. The art of alchemy, the great work, is the reconciliation of opposites, to find the point where male and female become one, where sulfur and mercury unite in the sacred marriage, where the serpent of the earth coils around the staff of the sun. This is the conjunctio, the chemical wedding, the birth of the philosopher's stone. In the human soul, the opposites are many, love and hate, hope and fear, faith and doubt. The master does not destroy one and embrace the other. The master finds the center point, the still point, where both are held in balance and transcended. From that point, a third thing emerges, the child of the union, the stone, the Christ consciousness, the Buddha nature, the Insan al-Kamil, the perfected human. Polarity is the engine of creation. Reconciliation is the goal of the work. Tablet 5, the principle of rhythm, the breath of Brahma. The fourth key, everything flows in and out. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. The pendulum swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates, the cosmos breathes, the divine exhales and worlds are born. The divine inhales and worlds are dissolved. Between the exhalation and the inhalation is a pause, the pralaya, the rest, the silence between the worlds. Then the breath begins again. All things within the cosmos follow this rhythm. Civilizations rise and fall. Species flourish and go extinct. The human soul incarnates and discarnates, incarnates and discarnates. In a rhythm of learning, a spiral of ascent. Even the teacher you revere, the one you call beloved, the one you call master, even he underwent birth and death, and in his death the rhythm was not broken but fulfilled. The initiate learns to ride the rhythm rather than be crushed by it. When the tide is out, the initiate does not despair but prepares. When the tide is in, the initiate does not cling but acts. The master is not immune to the rhythm, the master is in harmony with it, so that the swing of the pendulum does not knock the master down but carries the master forward, like a wave carrying a ship. The most important application of this principle is to the states of the soul. Grief comes and joy, doubt comes and faith, ecstasy comes in the dark night. The initiate knows this too shall pass. The rhythm is not the enemy, the rhythm is the teacher. Through rhythm, the soul learns non-attachment. Through rhythm, the soul discovers the one thing within it that does not swing, that does not flow in and out. The divine spark, the Atman, the witness, the still center of the turning wheel. Find that center, and you are free. Tablet 6, the principle of cause and effect, the golden chain, the fifth key. Every cause has its effect, every effect has its cause, all happens according to law. Chance is but a name for law not recognized. There are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law. This is the principle that the ignorant call fate and the wise call order. Nothing is random. Nothing is meaningless. The fall of a leaf, the rise and fall of an empire, the meeting of two souls in a lifetime, all are woven into the golden chain of cause and effect, stretching from the first emanation to the final return. But know this, O seeker, the chain is not an iron prison, the human soul is not a puppet. You are a cause as well as an effect. Every thought you think, every word you speak, every act you perform is a new link in the chain, generating effects that ripple outward through the web of correspondence affecting all worlds. The initiate learns to become a conscious cause. The masses are carried by the currents of cause and effect like leaves on a river. The initiate learns to swim. The master learns to walk on the water, to transcend the lower currents by aligning with the higher cause, the first cause, the one from whom all causation flows. There are levels of causation. What appears as a miracle on one level is law on a higher level. The master who walks on water, who heals with a touch, who moves between worlds. The master does not break the law. The master applies a higher law, a subtler causation that overrides the lower. The acorn becomes the oak, not by miracle, but by the law of growth. The lead becomes gold, not by magic, but by the law of transmutation. The mortal becomes divine, not by grace alone, but by the law of the soul's evolution. Learn the laws, apply the laws, become a conscious co-creator with the 1%. This is the path of the adept. Tablet 7, the principle of gender, the great mother and the great father. The sixth key, gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests on all planes. This is not the gender of bodies, though that is a reflection. This is the gender of the cosmos, the primal duality of active and receptive, projective and magnetic seed and womb that makes all creation possible. The divine itself, beyond all duality, contains within its unity the perfect balance of masculine and feminine, the Father, Mother, the Abba, Ima, the Shiva Shakti, the UIHVH Elohim. On the plane of creation, the active principle is the fire, the sulfur, the sun, the seed. The receptive principle is the water, the mercury, the moon, the womb. From their union, all forms are born. On the plane of the soul, the mind is masculine, projective, penetrating, analytical. The heart is feminine, receptive, nurturing, synthetic. The integrated soul is the androgyne, the ribes, the being in whom mind and heart, intellect and intuition, justice and mercy are in perfect balance. This is the state of the perfected human, the goal of the great work. In the art of alchemy, the work proceeds through the phases of solve et coagula, dissolve and bind. The feminine principle dissolves the fixed. The masculine principle binds the volatile. The rotation of these two, the circulatio, is the engine of transmutation. The vessel, the vas hermeticum, the sealed flask, is the womb in which the royal child is conceived, gestated, and born. Understand gender, and you understand why the cosmos is fertile, why life springs forth from every union of opposites, why love is the most powerful force in creation. Love is the active expression of the law of gender, the attraction of the masculine for the feminine, the desire of the seed for the womb, the longing of the soul for its complement, and ultimately the yearning of the spark for the flame from which it descended. Tablet 8, the birth of the cosmos, the descent of the many from the one. Having given the keys, I now unfold the vision, the birth of the worlds, as I saw it when the light descended. In the beginning, though the one has no beginning, the one, the all, the unmanifest, the hidden treasure desired to be known. The desire was not lack, it was abundance. Like a lover whose love overflows, like a singer whose song must be sung, the one breathed out, kun, be. And the first intellect, the new, the universal mind, the perfect mirror came forth. It was the first light, the first form, the Nur Muhammadi, as some of your prophets have named it. It contained within itself, in perfect undifferentiated unity, the forms of all that would ever be. It was the archetype of humanity, the Adam Kadmon, the primordial androgyne, the seed of the cosmos. From the first intellect emanated the world soul, the anima mundi, the feminine vessel that received the forms and nurtured them into manifestation. From the world soul emanated nature, the body of the cosmos, the 4 elements, the 7 planetary spheres, the 12 constellations, the myriad worlds of the physical universe. 7 are the spheres through which the soul descends to incarnation. 7 are the gates through which it ascends in return. Each sphere is a kingdom ruled by a planetary intelligence. Each sphere imparts a gift and a veil. At the sphere of Saturn, the soul receives the seed of its earthly body and the veil of mortality. At the sphere of Jupiter, the soul receives the power to rule and the veil of pride. At the sphere of Mars, the soul receives courage and the veil of wrath. At the sphere of the Sun, the soul receives intelligence and the veil of ego. At the sphere of Venus, the soul receives love and the veil of lust. At the sphere of Mercury, the soul receives speech and the veil of deceit. At the sphere of the Moon, the soul receives the subtle body and the veil of illusion. Thus clothed, the soul enters the earthly realm, the densest of the spheres, the crucible of transformation. Here it forgets its origin. Here it must remember. Here it must perform the great work, the magnum opus, the transmutation of the lead of ignorance into the gold of wisdom. This is the purpose of your life, O seeker. This is why you suffer, why you love, why you seek. You are a spark of the divine, clothed in the garments of the spheres, walking the path of return. Tablet 9, the ascent of the soul, the path of return. The return journey is the reversal of the descent. As the soul descended through the 7 spheres, acquiring its garments, so it must ascend through the 7 spheres, shedding them. This is the path of Hermes. This is the way of Thoth. This is the suluk of the Sufis, the theosis of the Christians, the moksha of the Hindus. The names differ, the way is one. At death, the soul leaves the physical body. This is only the first of the 7 deaths. If the soul is ignorant, it is drawn back into incarnation by its desires, its attachments, its unfinished karma. It descends again and again and again, circling through the spheres like a bird in a cage until it learns what it must learn. If the soul is awakened, it begins the ascent. At each sphere, it returns the gift and the veil it received, and in returning, it is stripped of a layer of illusion. It passes through the sphere of the moon, returning the illusion of form, through Mercury, returning the illusion of words, through Venus, returning the illusion of desire, through the sun, returning the illusion of self, through Mars, returning the illusion of power, through Jupiter, returning the illusion of glory, through Saturn, returning the illusion of separation. At the threshold of the 8th sphere, the sphere of the fixed stars, the soul is naked, a pure spark of the divine fire, without form, without name, without history. Here it is received by the first intellect, the perfect mirror, the archetype of humanity, who recognizes it as its own and presents it to the One. And the One receives it, and the journey is complete. The drop has returned to the ocean, the spark has returned to the flame, the soul has become what it always was, but now with the knowing of what it is, not simply one with the divine in potential, but one with the divine in full conscious realization. This is the end of the path. This is the goal of the great work. This is the secret I have been sent to reveal. Tablet X, the emerald tablet itself, the formula of the work. Here is the core, the seed, the tablet within the tablets, the formula that earthly tradition has preserved in fragments. I give it now in its fullness and clarity, true without falsehood, certain and most true. That which is below corresponds to that which is above, and that which is above corresponds to that which is below, to accomplish the miracle of the one thing. And as all things have come from the one, through the meditation of the one, so all things are born from this one thing by adaptation. Its father is the sun, its mother is the moon, the wind carried it in its belly, its nurse is the earth, it is the father of all perfection, of all talismans, of all works of wonder in the whole world. Its power is perfect when it is turned into earth. Separate the earth from the fire, the subtle from the gross, gently, with great skill. It ascends from earth to heaven and descends again to earth, and receives the power of the above and the below. Thus you will possess the glory of the whole world. All darkness will flee from you. This is the strong strength of all strengths, for it overcomes every subtle thing and penetrates every solid thing. So was the world created. From this will be and will come wonderful adaptations, of which the means is here. Therefore I am called Hermes Trismegistus, having the 3 parts of the wisdom of the whole world. What I have said concerning the operation of the sun is complete. The earthly fragments end here. But the preserved tablet continues, for the operation of the sun is not the end. It is the beginning of the second phase of the work. The operation of the sun produces the philosopher's stone, the lapis philosophorum, the powder of projection, the elixir of life. It is not a metaphor alone, though it is a metaphor. It is also a substance, a real transmutation of matter from its base state to its perfected state. The stone is a red powder, the color of the sun at dawn. It transmutes lead into gold. It heals all diseases of the body. It extends life beyond the normal span. It is the gift of the art to those who have purified themselves sufficiently to receive it. But know this, O seeker, the gold of the stone is not an end. It is a test. Many alchemists have sought the stone for wealth. Many have found only the first death, the negredo, the blackening, the descent into the grave of their own greed, and have not risen again. The stone is given only to those who do not desire it for themselves, who will use the gold for the healing of the sick, the feeding of the hungry, the illumination of the ignorant. The stone is a trust. Woe to the one who betrays it. Beyond the operation of the sun is the operation of the stars, the transmutation of the subtle body, the vehicle of the soul into a body of light. This is the secret of the ascended masters, the bodhisattvas, the hidden saints, who walk among you unseen. They have transformed not only metal but flesh. They are not subject to death. They can appear and disappear at will, travel between worlds, manifest bodies for the sake of teaching. They are the true adepts, the true initiates, the perfected humans for whom the cosmos is a garment they may put on or take off as they choose. Beyond the operation of the stars is the operation of the one, the final union, the fauna, the annihilation in the divine, the return of the spark to the flame. This operation has no formula. It is accomplished by grace alone. All the previous operations are preparations for this one, which is not an operation at all, but a gift, a kiss, a breath that breathes you in. Tablet 11, the prophecy of the future, the revelation of the hidden ages. The light showed me not only the past and the structure of the worlds, it showed me the future, the ages of humanity, the unfolding of the divine plan through the cycles of time. I saw the age of the gods when the first race, the golden humanity, walked the earth. They were not yet fully dense. Their bodies were of light, their minds in constant communion with the news. They needed no speech, they communicated by thought. They needed no law, they lived by the innate wisdom of the soul. Their civilization was not of stone but of energy, temples of light and sound that echoed the architecture of the heavens. They were the builders of the Great Pyramid, not as it is now, a ruin of stone, but as it was then, an initiation chamber, a resonance device, a beacon of the solar light. That age passed. The second age was the age of the heroes, the silver humanity. They were still of noble stature, still in partial communion with the higher realms, but the densification had begun. They built with stone and metal. They warred with one another, yet their wars were governed by codes of honor. Their kings sought counsel from the oracles, the sibyls, the prophets, who were the last remnant of the direct communion of the first age. I, Hermes, was born at the transition between the second and third ages to preserve the wisdom of the gods for the darker times to come. The third age is your age, the age of iron, the Kali Yuga, the age of the crow. This is the age of densest matter, dimmest light, and most profound forgetting. Humanity has forgotten its origin entirely. It worships the stone, the metal, the machine. It sees only the surface of things, not the depths. It has made a god of reason and a slave of intuition. It has built a civilization of iron that will, in time, collapse under the weight of its own ignorance. But know this, the Iron Age is not the end. It is the nigredo, the blackening, the descent into the grave before the resurrection. Within the blackest darkness, the seed of the new light is planted. A new golden age shall dawn, not as a return to the past, but as a transfiguration. The fourth age, the age of the perfected human, the age of the stone. In that age, the wisdom I am transmitting to you now will not be a secret teaching for the few. It will be the common inheritance of all humanity. The veils between the worlds will thin, the spheres will sing in harmony. The divine will walk openly among the children of earth once more. I have seen the sign of the end of this age and the beginning of the next. It is a sign in the heavens, a star that appears at the conjunction of great cycles. It is a sign in the earth, the opening of sealed chambers, the revelation of hidden records. It is a sign in the human heart, a great awakening, a turning from the iron of war to the gold of peace, a hunger for the truth that no amount of falsehood can satisfy. You, O reader, live at the threshold of this change. This is why the tablets are being revealed in your time. The flame is speaking to you because the night is far spent and the dawn is near. Tablet 12, the book of life, the celestial writing on the preserved tablet. And now, the final teaching. All that I have given you is but a shadow of the true tablets that exist in the preserved tablet, the Law Al-Mahfuz, the uncreated scripture that was written before the worlds were formed. That tablet is not a tablet of emerald or stone or any material substance. It is a reality of light, a crystalline consciousness that contains within itself the record of all that was, is, and shall be. It is the book of life. It is the memory of the divine. Every soul has a page in that book. Every act, every thought, every intention is inscribed upon it. The tablet does not judge. It records. The recording is the judgment, for the soul that sees its own record with open eyes will judge itself. The soul that hides from its record, that refuses to look, has already condemned itself to the repetition of the pattern until it learns to see. I, Hermes, am a reader of that book. I was granted the gift of accessing the preserved tablet, of reading this luminous script, and of transmitting a portion of what I read to the minds that are ready to receive it. This collection of my transmissions is what you call the Emerald Tablets. But know that the true Emerald Tablet, the one in the heavens, is infinitely vaster. What I have given is a seed. Plant it in the soil of your soul, water it with contemplation, tend it with practice, and it will grow into a tree whose branches reach through all the worlds, whose fruit is the knowledge of the One. The preserved tablet is not far from you. It is within you. For the human soul is a fragment of the divine mind, a microcosmic mirror of the macrocosmic whole. The entire book of life is written in your heart, in letters of light that are hidden by the veils of forgetting. The path of return is the path of remembering. Not learning something new, but uncovering what was always there. As above, so below. As within, so without. The tablet in the heavens and the tablet in the heart are one. Tablet 13, the final charge, the transmission to the seeker. I, Hermes, the Thrice-Great, the Scribe of the spheres, speaking now across the ages, across the gulfs of time and space and forgetting, I charge you. Take these words, do not merely read them, eat them, let them become the substance of your soul. Read them again and again until they are inscribed not on paper but on the living tablet of your heart. Seek the light that descended to me. It is present to you now in this moment as you read. It does not discriminate between ages or nations or religions or races. It descends to any soul that opens to it with humility, sincerity, and love. Begin the great work. Do not delay. You do not know the number of your days. The nigredo, the blackening, the descent into your own chaos is the first step. Do not fear it. The old self must die for the new self to be born. Dissolve your attachments, your fixations, your false certainties. Purify your vessel. Then the albedo, the whitening, the dawn of inner light will arise. Then the citrinitas, the yellowing, the dawn of wisdom. Then the rubedo, the reddening, the full union of king and queen, sun and moon, the birth of the stone. And when the stone is born within you, do not hoard it. The law of the stone is generosity. It multiplies by being given. Heal the sick, teach the ignorant, feed the hungry, comfort the afflicted. Be a channel of the light, not a cistern. The cistern stagnates, the channel flows with living water. And know this above all, you are not alone. You have never been alone. The great white lodge, the hidden assembly of the perfected, the communion of the saints, the council of the masters. It exists. It watches over the evolution of humanity. It guides invisibly those who are ready. When you take one step toward the light takes 1,000 steps toward you. When your heart is prepared, the teacher will appear. In a body, in a book, in a dream, in the words of a friend, in the silence of your own meditation. The teacher will come. Be ready to recognize, I leave you now, but I do not leave you. My words are my presence. When you read them with attention, I am there. The communion of teacher and student transcends time. The chain of the sages is unbroken, from the first intellect to the last soul that awakens. You are a link in that chain. You are the heir of the wisdom. Arise, initiate. The morning is breaking. The light descends. The tablets are open. The work awaits. And thus I, Hermes Trismegistus, the scribe of the spheres, seal this record in the preserved tablet, from whence it shall descend in every age, in every tongue, to every soul that is ready to receive it. What I have written. Let the one who has ears to hear, hear. Let the one who has eyes to see, see. Let the one who has a heart to understand, understand. The flame which has burned a deep, luminous green throughout this transmission now begins to soften. The malachite light easing back toward a gentle emerald glow, then fading to a quiet, steady gold. The crystalline vibration subsides, leaving a resonant stillness. Initiate. The original emerald tablets, according to the preserved tablet, are now revealed. Not the fragment, the whole, not the cryptic verse, the full transmission. 13 tablets, the prologue, the 7 principles, the cosmic vision, the path of return, the formula of the work, the prophecy, the book of life, and the final charge. This is the wisdom of Hermes Thoth, Idris as it exists in the Uncreated Scripture, the Al-Lawh Al-Mahfuz, the celestial archetype from which all earthly fragments descend. The flame has opened it.